history. We're due south of here, Birmingham, very shortly, passing through some of the most glorious countryside you'll see anywhere in the world. A word or two about one or two of the pre-race favourites. Robert Miller and Sean Kelly. Miller 11th, Kelly 12th in the general classification. Kelly, of course, also leads the King of the Mountains competition. Further down, Ronan Pensek, 23rd, 44 seconds off the pace. He's not out of it yet, but Joey McLaughlin is. Joey 79th now, more than 19 minutes off the lead. The inaugural winner of this tour, of course, a couple of years ago, but recovering from injury now. Let's join the riders on the road then at a famous Shropshire landmark, the first climb of the day, the Wrekin. Somebody told me that Phil Liggett was second in a road race here back in 1962. His retirement year, I think. Here he is, Phil.
Well, thank you, Richard, but I doubt whether Mariano Sanchez was born. Anybody who's fished the upper reaches of the River Severn knows that the hillsides around Iron Bridge are rolling and beautiful, and perhaps, Paul, Sanchez might feel he's back in Spain.
Well, with the sunshine today, he probably does do. And there at the moment, you've got the time coming through, 1:45, so he's moving clear at the moment. Obviously, the riders at the back not organising much of a chase as we go back to the chasing group.
This is Guido Winterberg, and setting quite a pace up here. Serge Demier on the far side there, number 21. And Janus Koom in the lime-coloured jersey. They're on the climb of the Wrekin. It is a narrow climb. It is quite steep. The rider's thankful perhaps it's not too long. Paul Curran on the far side there in the Bilton colours. He's lost his green jersey, of course. That's gone across to Remming Stumpf after that fine win in Liverpool. But just look at the tempo here being set by the Helvetia riders. Not as fast, Paul, as the one being set by Sanchez.
No, Sanchez is moving away quite steadily here. He's looking back to see if he can see any of the riders behind him, and there in the trees of the chasing group.
So the speed then of the main field are trying to limit the gains here of Sanchez. He lost a little bit of time on the run-in into Glasgow on Wednesday, and now he's trying to recuperate the lost time there. These are the two Helvetia La Swiss riders setting the pace. So Winterberg nearest the camera, and Janus Koom in the middle. Tim Harris, the British champion, also matching the pace, but we're going up towards the top of the Wrekin now. Lots of enthusiasm from the cyclists who are watching in mid-Shropshire.
Well, Sanchez struggling a little bit here, Phil, because he's been away along the valley towards the bottom of the Wrekin here, just having a little bit of difficulty getting the gears going, but as soon as he gets over the top, he'll get back into his rhythm as we go past the green flag there for 200 metres to go.
All the cheers then for Mariano Sanchez, riding in Britain for the first time. A teammate, let's not forget of Malcolm Elliott. This will take the pressure off Malcolm Elliott, and the main field must concentrate soon on bringing him back and expending energy. So over the top of the Wrekin then, maximum points for Sanchez, as we have this marvellous view now across Telford country, and this is the group at the back. And it's being led here by Luc Leblanc, who's setting the pace, and just behind him, Janus Koom.
Well, Janus Koom here is always at the front, been at the front since the start of the Tour of Britain, probably trying to make up for his bitter disappointment in the Tour de France this year when he was forced out of the race on one of the mountain stages.
So we're looking down at the main field, and they're going up this, you know, in one big bunch, despite the action here at the front by Leblanc. The blue jersey rather there, the under-23 jersey being worn by Brian Walton of the 7-11 team. This is Janus Koom, who's keeping the pace nice and high. Remember that Sanchez already over the top and heading on down towards Iron Bridge. Another nice crowd here on the summit as Janus Koom continues the pressure at 200 metres. Luc Leblanc taking him on. Sean Kelly comes in the picture, wearing the colours of the King of the Mountains leader, and I'm not sure, but I don't think Sean Kelly, as a professional, has ever won the King of the Mountains title in his career, and he's going to have a go at Janus Koom now. He doesn't get Koom though, so he'll take third place in the King of the Mountains. We'll get confirmation of that. There it is. Sanchez gets the 10 points, Janus Koom second, Sean Kelly third, Luc Leblanc is in fourth place. Now let's go back up and have a look how Mariano Sanchez is getting on as we run down the side of the River Severn. And there is the Iron Bridge, and Sanchez still making steady progress over the main field. And what a nice crowd here welcoming Sanchez through.
Well, there's Serge Demier coming away now. He was the rider who won the stakes at Liverpool last year. Specialist of this kind of effort, he would probably definitely like to get up to Mariano Sanchez in the front to strengthen his breakaway.
The road's a little bit narrow. We're swinging left here. Soon the climb will begin of Sutton Maddock's climb, and the lead as he starts that climb is 1 minute and 13 seconds. And here comes the big crowd through Iron Bridge. Just look at that lot, all packed nicely together. The crowd being treated to the spectacle of the Tour of Britain, winding its way steadily from Dundee towards Westminster, but today, of course, we stop at Birmingham. There's where we are at Sutton Maddock now. This is a very difficult little climb. It's used fairly frequently by cycle races in the area. Now we'll see how the big boys can do it. The blue flag you saw there, which Demier will also have seen, indicates the start of the climb. Points scored at the summit for the first 10 riders to cross the climb towards the King of the Mountains competition. But I think that Sanchez is thinking a lot farther ahead than the top of Sutton Maddock's, Paul. He's thinking of winning this stage in Birmingham.
Well, he is thinking of winning the stage in Birmingham, but also putting a little bit of pressure on the other teams to try and make them chase, possibly to help Malcolm Elliott break away later on. Here again, Serge Demier trying to get into contact with Sanchez so the two of them can try and build up a lead.
Well, here's Demier, 63 miles covered on today's stage of 105. And the main field now also approaching the start of that climb of Sutton Maddock. That'll lift us right over the top of Shropshire, and then we'll be heading off towards the West Midlands. Serge Demier, former winner of 2 stages in the Tour de France over the years, a professional for 10 years, and indeed a former champion of Switzerland as well. Dropped the gear there, tries to keep the rhythm going a little bit, but he's not climbing that smoothly, is he?
Well, he's not going up this climb as well as Sanchez was before, struggling quite a lot. Just, I think these climbs do surprise a lot of the continental riders with the severity and the steepness.
The continental riders who do race in Britain, as Demier goes over the top in second place, always do reflect that they don't feel the hills are the same as in Europe. They're much harder, but they're steeper, of course, and shorter. There's the lead, 1 minute and 3 seconds, so that's ahead of Demier. Then we look back to the gap over the bunch, and it's 48 seconds further back between Demier and the field as they just come over the top here of Sutton Maddock. And it looks like Kelly was third again. Yes, he was. Sanchez, Demier, Kelly, and Baker. Gary Baker gets fourth. Well done, Gary. Let's have a look at the King of the Mountains overall. Sean Kelly now leads with 50 points ahead of Martin Early. That's a good lead, and of course that competition will end tomorrow.
Well, Sanchez coming up through the feeding area here, just taking a bag, probably get his bottle out, fill up with a little bit of food to keep him on the way to Birmingham.
Sanchez, a stocky rider, rides a very small bicycle, those muscular legs carrying him along at the moment, well clear of the rest of the race. This is Demier taking his food at the feeding station, snatches it on the move, and now he has to sort it out without losing too much time. 1 bottle for the bike, and 1, no doubt, a drink, and off it'll go. Some lucky souvenir hunter will take that, no doubt, as the bunch come through the feeding station. Paul Curran leading, the yellow jersey of Martin Early, never too far away from the front, keeping out of trouble. And there's Kelly, almost stopped to take his on board. Now Sanchez continues. Here we have the situation. He's still ahead of Demier by 1 minute and 10 seconds. Demier, in fact, not gaining at all. And over the field at 3:32. And that makes Sanchez now almost the overall leader on the road, because he has recuperated all of his time lost in Glasgow. Now here's the bunch. Martin Early being joined by Sean Kelly. They're not too concerned. Sean Kelly introducing to us Thomas Wegmuller from Switzerland.
Thomas Wegmuller.
It's not often you see Sean smile like that.
I know, that's what I'm worried about.
And Malcolm Elliott being reminded of his message he gave one of our camera crew with some toast on the train down from Glasgow. But the race goes on. Elliott's teammate is in the lead, Sanchez. He's making his run for Birmingham. Will he make it? Come back soon. And we're back with the Tour of Britain in the streets of Birmingham, and sad to say, Sanchez has been collected by the whole field here. No sooner were they outside Wolverhampton, they picked up Serge Demier, and now as we enter the finishing circuit, they've wiped out the lead of Sanchez after a breakaway of 43 miles. And that's always sad, Paul, when a man who tries to win and shows the courage gets swept up. But I don't suppose Keith Reynolds at the front here cares about it at all.
Well, he doesn't care at all, because he's here at Birmingham, almost in his hometown, trying to show himself off to the crowd as we go back to the front of the bunch.
So as they come through the finishing line this time, they'll have 7 laps to go. The clock tells us they've been in the saddle now for almost 4 hours. It's been another rapid day's racing, and here they come. So it's going to be possibly a bunch sprint now. All the riders are together. The yellow jersey of Martin Early, he'll feel very contented because all the riders are with him. And remember, he's protecting an overnight lead of 8 seconds, and to get that gap, they must go clear of him, because there's no time bonuses this year on the finishing sprint except on the final day in Westminster. Gary Coltman in the lead then, bringing the whole field around.
Well, this circuit in Birmingham really is quite a difficult circuit. We've been here before in previous Kellogg's Tours and also on the Milk Race this year. It's a very hard circuit, and you can see Steve Sefton trying to drag the bunch away. He also won the stage of the Milk Race here in Birmingham, I think it was last year.
Yes, it was indeed, Paul. This year, of course, he crashed out with a broken collarbone, but he's back in action now, and it does seem as though he's finding his legs. This is Janus Koom having a go here, and Soren Lilholt has joined him, and so too has Keith Reynolds. Reynolds has got on the back there. He will be feeling a little bit ambitious today because his father, former Tour de France rider Harry Reynolds, has seen him on the course throughout the day, and of course Keith now coming back into his home city.
Well, as they come through the line this time, it's 1 lap to go to the TV time sprint, and this group just moving away. Nice little move, because if there's a slight hesitation in the bunch behind, they could stay away.
And it looks like Malcolm Elliott's latched on to the back of this group now. He's gone through there in 3rd or 4th place. Elliott, who's won in all 3 stages since he started riding these Tours of Britain, has never won in Birmingham, and it's a circuit that should suit him. This is Janus Koom, the naturalised Soviet rider who now rides for Norway and the Belgian ADR team. He's to the right of our picture, and the group is still progressing. Malcolm Elliott has bridged the gap. And it's not a very big gap, is it? Just over 4 hours of racing. And Reynolds to the far right of our picture. They're all looking over the shoulders, always an indication that the pace is not what it should be. Elliott is 3rd, and also looking where the bunch are. And the rider in the white hat to the left of our screen here is Soren Lilholt. Malcolm Elliott, first chance we've had to see him really in the full flight of the action since he won that prologue up in Dundee. And Elliott now opening the TV time sprint, and he's going to take it with ease. Elliott gets it quite easily there. Lilholt, I think it was, in 2nd place. Yes, it was. And Janus Koom gets the 3rd spot. So with 5 laps just left to go now, it's all down to the big sprint at the end. And can anybody, Paul, manage to slip this field and take the day?
Well, it's always a difficult thing to talk about on a circuit like this. It's a hard circuit with lots of corners. We could possibly see a little group moving away, as Elliott's group is still actually at the front here with a little bit of a gap. Elliott forcing the pace, Soren Lilholt coming through to try and force this group away a little bit further.
Ex-junior world champion before he became quite a force to be reckoned with on the professional scene, Lilholt, and he was indeed an early challenger for the green jersey in the Tour de France this year. Now the lead is still with Elliott. And I must say that Malcolm Elliott does seem to be very determined now to tell us all that he's really back in the race. The whole field are tacked on, though. It's Elliott, Koom, Lilholt, Reynolds. I think it's Pascal Lance who's come up in 4th place.
Yes, and the whole bunch is coming back together there. There is Serge Demier, who was away before, but he's a lap down. So he's just looking back to see what's happening with the rest of the field.
So Demier paying for his earlier efforts. He's been lapped by the field on this circuit, which is just under 1 mile around the city. And Koom is putting in some work rate here. He's on the front here, trying to drag just a small group clear that could win the day, while Martin Early will be hoping they all stay together, because the big bunch would then all be timed together and there would be no need for him to worry at all.
Well, this looks like Norman Alves going away here. He's forcing the pace for 7-Eleven rider, being a very handy amateur, just followed by one of the Fago riders, Francis Moreau.
And as always, the professionals putting on a high-speed show around the city centre finish. And we've got here Chris Lillywhite coming up now. And he's joined Alvis. And Chris Lillywhite, Paul, is the sort of rider who could win. He won, in fact, just the day before this race got underway. So he has the form. He likes this sort of racing, a former criterium champion. And that's, by the way, is a rider who rides these closed circuit races.
In the front group as well there, Phil, is Ronan Ponsek. So this is a very good move, the kind of move that Lillywhite could win from. He really has got a fantastic sprint when it comes to jumping away from a group like this.
And that's Lillywhite tucked in at the back. He's holding off as long as he can here, but the field is coming across, and they're coming across very quickly with 1 lap to go now. So the 4 riders have the lead, but it is going to be very much touch and go. There they go down the bottom, back into New Street, and the whole field threading their way through, not very far behind. Norm Alvis. On the far side, it's Moreau who's having a go. He joined the Fagor team this year after being a very, very good amateur indeed in France. He wants more action, and Lillywhite says you can have it, because he joins Norm Alvis in 2nd place. And the other rider here, Ronan Ponsek, sits in 3rd place now. Moreau comes on the back, and Alvis eases up. As Ponsek goes, he knows you can't wait any longer, Paul, because they're coming up so quickly.
Well, the bunch comes back very quickly in the final stage like this, and Ponsek just pulling away. Lillywhite tucked right into his wheel, waiting for his move, waiting for the time to go.
And Alvis goes on the right now. Lillywhite looks across a little bit late, but the whole field are on them. They've really made a mess of this. They've waited too long. They actually had this, and they've let it go from them because they didn't work together. Alvis is trying to keep it going. Lillywhite's opening the sprint for the finish. This is the face of Norm Alvis, and this is Chris Lillywhite now. But the whole field and a white helmet there of Phil Anderson. There's Stumpf on the other side of the road in the green jersey, the man who was 2nd yesterday. Stumpf is going to win tonight. He's won it. Stumpf has won. In 2nd place was Phil Anderson. And it looked to me as though it was a reversal there of the top 2. Let's have a look again. This was Chris Lillywhite. If you remember, in Liverpool, it was Anderson Stumpf. On the right of the road, we've got the green jersey. There he is, of Remmig Stumpf. And he was beaten by Phil Anderson in Liverpool. And now he gets his revenge. And there we are. Stumpf beats Phil Anderson this time. Doe is in 3rd place. Malcolm Elliott is 4th. Lillywhite 5th.
Remmig, this is developing into quite a tour for you now. 3 stages, 2 firsts and a 2nd.
Yeah. Oh, I'm happy. I don't ride the Tour de France in July, and I'm fresh now, and I'm preparation for this tour here, and I must ride now. I must take the places here.
What are your targets? 1 more stage tomorrow, and then of course Westminster.
I try it, and I will have my 2nd place in the General Classement, and I try to get another stage.
What were your plans when you came here? To keep picking off stage wins like this?
No, I will only just win 1 stage, and I see good form here, and I ride so fast I can.
And today, when did it go through your mind that you might win another stage?
Or the last 1 kilometer, the last mile.
Oh, what a sprinter that man is. And Martinelli confirmed still as the leader, just 8 seconds over Stumpf. Elliott is 3rd at 11 seconds, and Lilholt is in 4th place. Mark Walsham keeps the overall lead with 18 points over Barnes.
Well, another marvellous stage win by the surprise package of this tour, Remmig Stumpf, who perhaps is starting to think about the possibilities of winning this. This isn't mine, I'm sorry to say. It's all part of the race winners' prizes. He's got some hard work to do yet, some very hard work, if in fact that's the case. Tomorrow is the most difficult stage on the race so far, 130 miles between Birmingham and Cardiff. We're taking the infamous tumble en route and Caerphilly Mountain. It would be nice to see you up there if you can make it. If not, then the circuit finish in Cardiff perhaps. And if you can't make it to Cardiff, then join us back here on Channel 4. Bye-bye now.